All right, ladies and gentlemen, people of royalty, kings and queens, how are we doing today? Are we ready to jump into it? Today is all about shiny hunting. Welcome back to another PokeMMO stream recap. I'm going to get encounters right now. Another PokeMMO stream recap, your #1 daily video source of PokeMMO tips, tricks, resources, news, information, talking about the game, discussing with the community, seeing how people are feeling, and shiny hunting. Now it's in the title, okay? We're baiting a little bit, boys. I'll be super honest. I am technically the 100, I'm a top 100 shiny hunter in Pokemon. I know, very prestigious, okay? Very, very cool accomplishment, true and real, not copium, okay? However, do I actually get shinies is the question. I don't know. It's been a while. Hopefully we can break that streak today. I'm going to try my best to break that streak today. I'm going to try to at least get to 50,000 encounters today. Hopefully, if I play it efficiently enough, maybe push like 52,000 encounters. If I could stream for about 5-6 hours, do about 5,000 encounters, that's ideal. But I've got to lock in. I get too distracted recently. And if I want to push for ranks, if I ever want to one day have the top 10, most shinies in PokeMMO or be a top 10 ranked shunter, I got to lock in a little bit. I got to lock in much more. We got to discuss the game, have fun, be PokeMMO focused, and get some encounters. So let's do it. Let's get to it. If you have any questions about the game, always come to the streams, pop in the streams, let me know your questions. It's kind of like a daily FAQ, honestly, is what it ends up being. I have 9,000 hours playing this game because I have too much free time, and I love this game very much. You have 100 hours because you have a job, a life, family, kids, and I can hopefully deposit as much information into you as I possibly can. So let's get into that. That has to be the food take of the day because it perfectly follows up yesterday's discussion as well. Yesterday, we talked about how I kind of think bacon and eggs is an overrated combination of flavors. I don't think they actually complement each other that well. They look really nice on a plate. We all learned about it from fucking Dr. Seuss. I understand bacon and eggs sound cool together. I don't think they actually fit together as a decent flavor profile. I think it's overrated. Someone in chat said, let me put you on about bake up with syrup. Bacon and syrup goes eons, decades, neurons, black holes deeper than, much better, that's significantly, ridiculously better. Bacon is so much better with syrup than bacon and eggs. It's not even, that's an opinion where, like, if you disagree, I might not be able to have an honest and charitable discussion with you about food. That might be a line drawer. That might be like, if you actually think bacon and eggs taste better than bacon and syrup, I don't know if I can trust anything you have to say or any input from that point forward. That's a great point, chatter. Do you think Mysterious Balls will go up in price during Shiny Wars? I can talk about my feelings and my opinions and my thoughts. I cannot give you market advice or investment advice. That is up to your final decision. However, in my opinion, I think Mysterious Balls will go up a little bit during Shiny Wars. Like, we'll spike maybe 20% at the maximum, right? 20% at the maximum. We found out during last Shiny War that Mysterious Balls just aren't nearly as good as anybody thought they would be during Shiny Wars, during the official PokeMMO Shiny Wars, which hopefully should return either in July or probably July this year, would be my guess, and hopefully 1 month this year as opposed to 2 months. 2 months was brutal. Hopefully maybe even less than 1 month, but we'll see, honestly. Yeah, Mysterious Balls were not nearly as good. If you were going to credit card swipe and go that route, which I think is lame, I'm not a fan of it, but it's a competition, so anything goes, I get it. I'm not going to shame someone for doing that. It's more like I wish it wasn't allowed sort of thing, almost, You would go Mysterious Ball, or not Mysterious Ball. Instead of Mysterious Balls, you would credit card swipe and you would go get fossils. You would pop fossils, which I think will be nerfed this year because fossils, we found out very quickly, not very quickly. It took us 2 months. We found out during like the final 2 weeks of the event, fossils were insane. And everybody really realized you could do this thing called fossil running, which has now been, like, I think they actually changed fossils due to fossil running during Shiny Wars. If you don't know, how would you know? This was like 0.001% of players, very high level, very endgame, veteran, like insane players were doing this, right? There were players who would hire fossil runners during official Shiny Wars. And what they would do, the high level players, they would buy as many fossils as possible, pop all the fossils to try to get a shiny, and then they would trade all 5 fossils they popped over to random players who would fossil run for them, which it's very similar to like rune running or essence running if you're familiar with RuneScape, right? Where they would pop all the fossils, just give away all the fossil Pokemon if they weren't shiny, and then the fossil runners would just keep them. They would just keep them. It was pure profit. You could just run back and forth, and people were making like 1 million Pokeyen per hour. like 1 million Pokeyen per hour just fossil running as a new player with like Oreburgh City unlocked. It was insane. It was insane money, insane opportunities, really crazy shiny hunting. Nowadays they buffed fossil hunting so that now your fossils just get sent to your PC, so that kind of eliminates that sort of fossil running element, which is good and bad. It's interesting, but it's also, you know, kind of eliminates a money making method for newer players, which was kind of cool, but also it's kind of insane, right? So TLDR, Mysterious Balls probably will grow up a little bit during wars out of excitement and fun, and they're interesting, but they're just not nearly as efficient or as good as going for Shiny Shedinja, buying XP candies, doing the Ninjadas, or going for fossils. I think if you want to make an investment, just my opinion, feelings, conjecture, this will not 100% guaranteed happen. If you want to make an investment for Shiny Wars, which may not even return, it's possible it doesn't even come back, but if it does, it'll be around July most likely. Fossils would probably be the best investment. Fossils really got crazy and started to spike up a ton, but I think fossils are just already really expensive right now is the problem. The cheapest fossil is like 9k. Yeah, mostly 10k. Look at these. Like, fossils are just really expensive right now. I feel I would really strongly encourage people to go check out my old fossil farming guides. Fossil farming is probably insane right now. This is probably what, like, if you want to make Pokeyen as an intermediate player, fossil farming is probably one of the best. If I was, it's what I did a lot during my money making challenge in October. In October, I did a 0 Pokeyen to 20 million Pokeyen in 1 month challenge, and a lot of what I did was gym reruns, trainer reruns, fossil farm. Those 3 activities, and I just was able to make a ridiculous amount of consistent Pokeyen. And I would encourage you to check those out because it's fossil farming is probably really good. I would definitely look into it and hope that's helpful. It's a great question. We've got into a lot of different topics with that. Hopefully it helps some people. Great question. Is there any recatch timer for things like Alpha TTar or Heatran and whatnot? It depends on the Pokemon. The Alpha Tyranitar that you get at Mount Silver is a static one-time spawn. It's worth around 450 to 500k or so. We're just looking at it. That is a one-time spawn per account. You cannot get multiple Alpha Tyranitars. It is literally only one per account that completes the Pokedex, which is really interesting, right? The Heatran, I believe, I could be corrected, I believe you can catch Heatran once every 3 months. You can do the Heatran raid and catch him. You can get a new Heatran once every 3 months. How would you feel about pity shinies? For example, every 100,000 encounters, you get a guaranteed shiny. There's 2 problems with it. Number 1 is the balance one, but it can be solved, so I'll refute it in a quick sec. But number 1 is the balance one, which is if you could, every 100,000 encounters dry, if it was guaranteed you would get a shiny, the strategy would become to hunt rare shinies. You would just do ×5 hordes until you get 100k encounters dry, which isn't even that crazy hard, as dumb as that sounds. We can check over at binomial distribution. The strategy would become to not use donator status, not use shiny charms, and then do like 100 shunts or whatever. Every not even that actually, like 25 shunts. 25 ×5 horde shunts would be so much faster than doing an actual rare shunt, right? So then if you did, I think off the top of my head, right? But plus you get more shinies, right? So you would do that, and then on average you would eventually go 100k dry. And so you would do like ×5 hordes until you go 100k dry, and then you would go to like 1 Charmander egg, and then boom, rare shiny. Which that would suck, right? I think that's way too broken. The second thing is that it just, when you have pity stuff like that, pity systems are usually a mobile game mechanic that are used to encourage people to gamble more and buy more loot boxes and stuff like that. It's unfortunate, but it's true, because it encourages you to like keep pushing and keep going, as opposed to most shiny hunters in PokeMMO understand you're not shiny hunting for the shiny, you're shiny hunting for the journey. You actually want your shinies to be difficult. Some, not every day, but like the shinies that are most impactful, most memorable, most meaningful are usually the ones you went 150k drive for, 300k drive for, the ones that took you years to get. These are the most meaningful shinies. Now, less people will get these, but it'll also make them more impactful, more, you know, beautiful. Yes, so the refute to the 100k thing is, this is what PokeForce is planning to do, is you have to 100k Pokemon of the same Pokemon, but like the second point that I'm making now, I don't think it's good for the game. I don't think it actually creates for like a fun, interesting environment. I think it creates for like a very lackluster. And as a shunter, in my opinion, if I went 99,995 encounters drive for a shiny, and then all of a sudden I was like, okay, well now I know that I'm gonna get it, it feels sad. It feels I feel like it defeats the whole point of shiny hunting, which is it's out of your control, right? The entire point, the entire philosophy behind shiny hunting is that you can only control so much. All you can do is keep getting encounters, and if you never give up, you will eventually win. I don't like that element of like, oh, you will win for sure. Like I don't think it fits shiny hunting philosophically, which is kind of a like semantic argument to some extent, but I think it's also core to the game. If someone disagreed with me and said, hey, I think pity shinies should be in the game because I think it's better for the game, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, that's a dumb opinion, but I disagree with it. Like I think it's a valid opinion to hold. And it could fit in a different Pokemon MMO. For example, Pokeforce is planning to do a pity system. I think if they want to do that in a new game from the start, I think that's fine. I wouldn't want PokeMMO to add a pity system. I think it totally defeats the deep connection that shiny hunters have with the journey, as silly as that sounds. This question was actually asked yesterday, but I don't know if I put it in the stream recap. What is the non-legendary rarest shiny? So if we disclude legendary shinies and we disclude alpha shinies, the rare, and I think Xanarchy agreed with me, he also helped make his own. We made a kind of list together. I think the rarest ends up being number 1, the Tyrogue line, and then number 2, it ends up being like Tyrogue and Togepi, weirdly. People always ask about like, oh, what about Pheno Pokemon or something like that, right? The reason why Pheno Pokemon aren't actually the rarest shinies is because you can just egg hunt them, right? And now saying just egg hunt is hilarious because egg hunts are really difficult. They take about 1,000 hours and cost like 150 million Pokeyen. They're very expensive, very like top 1%, very high level Pokemon, right? High level shinies, right? Insane things. However, if something is just an egg hunt, it inherently can't be the rarest shunt because there's way more. There's so many egg shunts that are more complicated. It used to be Shedinja. Someone brought up Shedinja. Shedinja used to be the rarest shunt in PokeMMO, like by far. It wasn't even close. It used to be like a 16,000 hour hunt for a secret shiny Shedinja. However, XP candies being introduced vehemently changed the Shedinja hunt. The Shedinja hunt went from, I want to say, like a, multi-thousand hour hunt to a few hundred with XP candies. What about Riolu? So Riolu got buffed when Johto released, because this is like, I know all the fuck, I love this, I love Shine, right? Riolu got really buffed when Johto released. They released the him in the Safari Zone. You can actually shunt Riolu in the Safari Zone like pretty effectively now. It's obviously not like it's still a really, really rare, really tough shiny to get, but it's pretty like decent to go for in the Safari Zone, right? If it wasn't in the Safari Zone, then it would be up there. The reason why, I'll get to it, the reason why Tyrogue and Togepi are such rare shunts is because they are called baby Pokemon shunts, which suck. Because whenever you breed a Togetic or a Hitmon, any of the Hitmonlee, Chan, Tops, or whatever, when you breed those, they become a baby Pokemon. You can't control that. They become Tyrogue, they become Togepi, and you cannot breed baby Pokemon, obviously. So what you have to do is you have to level up all of those baby Pokemon using XP candies, which drastically increases the price of the shunt. You have to evolve all of those. You have to evolve all of them. And that takes so much time and adds so much extra difficulty and complexity to the hunt. In combination with how difficult their efficient shunt is, it also kind of factors in like how many wild locations there are. So for example, for like the Hitmons or whatever, the best way to single encounter for Hitmon, if you want to do that, would be like luring top, which I assume is a 5% chance at a lure or whatever, which is kind of interesting. But then like Chan and Lee are like 1% encounters in like certain floors of the Victory Road. So like they like to efficiently shunt for them, you probably want to egg them. It's a 2,000 hour hunt to single encounter for a lure. You should not do that. It's never efficient. You should always egg for it, essentially. If you want to, you can for fun, but it's not efficient. If you're having fun, it's more important than efficiency, right? So yeah, Tyrogue and Togepi end up being the rarest for those reasons. Hopefully that clears that up. It's a great question. Very interesting. Good job, chat. All right, boys. 48,000 encounters. Mark it on your calendar. Mark it on the bingo sheet for today. I have a rare PokeMMO related question, Pat. Yeah, we've mostly just been discussing 1,000 bees versus 1,000 ants and food for the last 2 hours. Do you think people, when building Pokemon, should prioritize 31 IVs more than they currently do? More than they currently do? No. I actually think they should prioritize them. Well, it depends. If you're breeding for profit, yes. I mean, but I think people will prioritize them plenty enough when breeding for profit. If you're breeding for profit, yes, you want to prioritize 31 IVs. When you're breeding for use, if you're going to use the Pokemon, use it in a raid, use it in PvP, whatever, don't over worry. The 31 is one of the most overpaid for stats. Like often a 25 to 28 or higher will do the same thing in most situations. There's very rare roles where it might matter, but And speed is the outlier, especially if you're in PvP. If you're in PvM, it's less more. But in like PvP, 31 speed is very important on a lot of Pokemon. You actually like really need like 31 speed Jolly or 31 speed Timid, like those plus speed natures. Speed's the one where you can't skimp, but most PvP Pokemon are going to be considered perfect if it's like 28 attack and then like 20 plus, maybe not 20 plus for perfect, but like 25 plus HP defense, special defense, and then like 31 speed. That's like a perfect comp in all seriousness and all effective purposes, right? I think people hard overvalue the green number, but I think people know. I don't think people are overvaluing the green number out of ignorance. I think it's they overvalue it and they know they're overvaluing it, but it looks nice. It's an aesthetic thing. I think going for the green number is Pog, right? It feels cool. It feels nice. It's like an OCD thing to say. It feels satisfying to like get all green numbers, you know? Absolutely. This guy dropped that off and snuck off. But I'm distracted after that. But yeah, I think I think if anything, I would not breed more 31s. I would probably breed less. Like it's not, if you're breeding for usage, it's not actually that good. The difference between like 28 or 25 to 31 is so minimal and will not matter in most damage rolls or most cases. I've been getting a lot of questions about this recently, so I don't want to talk about it. I've tried to give this little PSA whenever possible. Please don't pop charms when shiny hunting if you're doing ×5 hordes. If you want to for fun, go for it. Fun is more important than efficiency. But efficiency wise, it's not worth it. During shiny wars, I will pop charm during ×5 hordes. You'll see me on charms, like if I'm, shunting on ×5 hordes or whatever, but I'm not popping. I do strongly discourage popping shiny charms during ×5 horde hunting. If you want to pop Dono and you play a fair bit, that could be fine, but let's do the math, right? Popping charms for an entire shiny hunt, right, is going to save you 3 hours on that shunt. 3 hours, okay? Keep that number in mind. And now you're paying 240,000 Pokeyen around, roughly, per shiny charm. And it should take you about 24 hours if you shiny hunt ×5 hordes efficiently, get like 1,000 encounters per hour, with Donator status and shiny charm on the entire time. You end up paying 5,760,000 Pokeyen on top of your Donator status cost just to save 3 hours. Now, if you could make, theoretically, 2 million Pokeyen per hour, then that's where it becomes efficient. Like, oh yeah, your time is worth more than the time saved. How many players do you know making 2 million Pokeyen an hour? Maybe a handful, very, very few with investments and like insane flips, like, but not consistently. No one makes that consistently, right? Like, I would argue. Yeah, shiny charms are ludicrously, disgustingly not worth it. If you want to pop them to piss away Pokeyen for the fun of it or chance, more power to you. But please, please, please don't think shiny charms are a requirement by any means, and don't think they're even good. Shiny charms are not even good. They're just kind of fun. The discussion becomes more interesting when you're doing like egg hunts or rarer shunts that take a lot more time. Even whether or not you should pop shiny charms on egg hunts is kind of debated on whether it's efficient or not. And that's like a 1,000-hour hunt, right? So that's, yeah, I do personally pop charms for egg hunts because it can save money in the long run to some extent, which with how expensive dittos are, to be fair, and how many eggs you make per hour. I would only pop charms personally if you want to have fun, number one, and number two, for egg hunts. But I see so many people asking me like, hey man, like, why aren't you popping charms when you're shunting? Or, I've popped so many charms in this horde hunt and I'm still dry. And it's like, man, it's not guaranteed. Like, you could go, that makes going drier when you're shiny charm hunting also makes it even more painful than going dry already is, right? Yeah. They should make shiny charm plus 10%. Shiny charm is plus 10%. It's only plus 5% if you're in the link. It is a plus 10% boost. It's plus 10% the same way Dono is. Yeah, Alpha Suicune is not a market I've checked very much into at all. How is it doing? Yeah, it's at around 1 mil or so. It's not too expensive. I mean, I think the main reason being, obviously it's a lot for a Pokemon, but like for an Alpha exclusive, it's pretty cheap comparatively to its counterparts. Things like Alpha Charizards, or Charmanders, things like Alpha Bulbasaurs and Squirtles, these Alpha starters that cost, 10 mil. I don't think Suicune will ever reach the prices. It might go up over time as a collector's piece. Don't get it twisted. Alpha Suicune is nothing compared to the Alpha starters. I'm sorry, but it is, and I'll explain why, right? Number one, you don't need the hidden ability access. It's not that great, and even if it is, you could just use Prismatic Pearls to put hidden ability onto normal Suicunes. So that's number one. Number two, you can't breed Suicunes, so you can't shunt for a Shalfa Suicune the same way you can with the Shalfa starters, right? And then number 3, I guess number 3 is same with number 1. The hidden ability is not that good. Like, the hidden ability on all of the starters is like the ideal ability, except for maybe Blastoise. What's Blastoise's? Blastoise is the only like not great one, but like Chlorophyll Venusaur is the best way to run Venusaur, right? Chlorophyll Venusaur is really, really good. Solar Power Charizard is the best way to run Charizard, and it's used in raids in Sun teams, right? There are uses for these mons as well as them being collector pieces and shining pieces. Suicune's just a collector piece. Suicune's kind of just a collector piece, I would say, which is neat, but nothing compared to shiny starters. Yes, by the way, no shiny Shaymin this year, right? Yes, we have gone, dude. People always ask. I mean, technically it's a mythical Pokemon nerd emoji, but like the rarest shiny in PokeMMO, considering all legendaries, all mythicals, all Pokemon, all alphas, etc., is still Shaymin. There is not a single shiny Shaymin in the game, even though it is possible. It is not shiny locked. You can get a shiny Shaymin. It's been 3 years. No one's done it. I really thought it was going to happen this year. It's kind of insane. It's kind of interesting. I'm really surprised there's still no shiny Shaymin. I'm curious to see whoever gets the first will be legendary. Like, it's going to take 4 years now to get a chance at shiny Shaymin. Insane, dude. Someone in Team Mister just hit shiny Beldum. Holy shit, boys. Psychopath. Egged it, bro. Egged Beldum. Fresh as fuck. Just hit 2 minutes ago. Congratulations, dude. Dude, that's gotta be... I'm curious how many encounters. I'm gonna ask him how many eggs. That's... Dude. The dream. The absolute dream. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful shiny Beldum. Just a freshly egged Beldum. 19,000 eggs, he said. 19,000 eggs. Someone said he's playing League right now, so he can't respond in chat. Okay, well, now I take my congratulations back a little bit, but still amazing shiny. Nice job. Ooh, someone said, can we round table idea new glove vanity? I feel like the next big step for vanities in PokeMMO is just splitting up the sections a little bit better. There aren't that many glove vanities, so I could definitely see more of those coming out. But the biggest topic of discussion right now in the community, when it comes, this is like forum posts and stuff about, a lot of people talk about this, is adding some sort of like ear section, as silly as that sounds, but or also just changing certain items. So I think one of these, like I think face is new. I could be wrong. I don't think face used to be a vanity slot, right? We pretty much just have Santa beard and yeah, there's not many face items. But like things like Vampire Fangs, an old vanity from like 2015, these are still considered your hat item, which sucks. It sucks that I can't combine my Vampire Fangs with something else, you know, along the way. Another thing is the earrings. This has been the biggest community thing, is like earrings are a hat vanity. Why? Like, you usually want to wear earrings with hats, right? I feel like earrings should definitely be a face vanity. I feel like we need to be switching. We probably should switch a lot of vanities over to the face slot. I don't know the best way to do that or how to do that or how tough that is. I have no idea, but I think a lot of vanities should be switched to face. Yeah, a lot of vanities should be switched to face, and hopefully we start seeing that. Kind of, it'd be a good quality of life update. That's a good like quality of life, like vanity rehaul and rehauling all the different locations where they go, rehauling, maybe adding another zone, adding more zones, layering things like that. That'd be a really good vanity quality of life. It'd be a pretty big update to some extent, but it'd be a good update that's kind of needed, right? Someone brought this up recently in the comment sections, and it's something that honestly I need to do better. I kind of just forget about this when discussing about potential PokeMMO updates. It's really tough to discuss PokeMMO updates because there's a lot of things there's a few reasons. There's a lot of things we could add to the game that could be better for the game, but a lot of it comes down to developer time and resources. I don't think the developers are strapped for good ideas or strapped for things they need to do. It's more about how do they find the time and the energy to do all the things that they need to do / want to do. Then secondly is copyright stuff. Someone talked about how, like, in the comments, like, it's probably difficult for them to add Pokemon mounts, as that might be a copyright problem because you'd have to have some sort of like custom sprite there, and that would use Pokemon work, right? I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if Pokemon can ever add custom Pokemon like mounts, right, without it being a copyright violation. I think it's kind of true. I don't know. So I need to consider that more. Whenever they're trying to think of updates and things to add to the game, they constantly have to dance around this like copyright thing. So it's a big difference. It's a big difference than any other video game you can just update freely. Oh my, whoa, yeah, someone said White Rabbit plush went up too. Bro, I was not, how did this vanity go up more? It was like 40 mil, maybe like 30 to 40 mil. It's all the ultra rares are kind of going up, man. 30 to 40 mil, now up to 57, 58. It's a big jump. Someone said Shadow Bone Clubs as well, which are up from like 20 something mil. I didn't check this market as much, but someone said like 20 something mil up to like 33 mil, up a fair bit. The ultra rares, man, they're just, people are discovering that certain ultra rares from certain events are just so rare. I feel like they really change, and it's interesting because then you have things like the Mage's Staff, which is an ultra rare vanity, which is 850k, because it's either just not desired, and it's also just not as rare as people thought. It's a tough mixture. We don't really know, obviously. We don't know the pool rates of ultra rares, but it's crazy to see how different ultra rares can have those. Like, it's kind of crazy that something that can be an ultra rare can be 850k or 60 mil. Like, that's a crazy difference. Okay, I wanted to show this off because it is kind of cool. It's an old clip from 2018, actually, which we didn't realize for a little bit. It's a clip on Bilibili, which is essentially the Chinese variant of YouTube, from my understanding, or like, you know, what they use, which is super fair. But this is 2 shinies in 1 horde, and it's also interesting because you can see one is a shiny Frillish and one is a shiny Jellicent. Back in 2018, when this video was made, you could actually get hordes of different species of Pokemon within 1 horde. This is no longer possible in PokeMMO. This might be the first time I've seen this exact, but I've only seen 2 shinies in 1 horde, I think 3 other times. I've seen it. There's the guy who got the double area dose, I believe, in 1 horde on stream. That's the only like live recorded clip we've ever had of that. There was 2 Shinkses in 1 ×3 horde, which is the only time I've ever seen a ×3 horde double shiny, aside from this clip now, which is crazy. And then there was a, which I think this is a ×3 horde. It's hard to tell, honestly, as he started recording after a while in the fight. I think it is based on the layout, but I could be wrong. And then there was another, there was like 1 other. I've only seen 2 shinies in 1 horde a handful of times, 5 or less times in my entire life. It's super rare. So let's just watch a little bit. Probably gonna skip around.
600万，600万的钱，加上水。
I don't know what he's saying, and I don't speak his language, unfortunately, obviously. I can tell he's excited. He's like breathing heavy, dude. He's like so fucking hyped. He's so excited. I want to watch him. It's gonna cause a little bit. I want to watch him kill the Jellicent. He also has a mod that turns something into Meowstic.
还剩下4小时了，还剩下4小时。
I want to see him kill the shiny. So if you ever are unfortunate enough, or fortunate, you know, to get 2 shinies in 1 horde, you have to kill 1. Cannot catch them both. Why is this song kind of a banger? What is this Meowstic mod as well? That's so funny. Over here. Did he like misclick and switch to a different Pokemon, or did he like need to do something on this? Did he soak it or something? Can't even tell. Let's see.
那句话怎么说的？
I can't read these settings. I'm sorry.
金石为开。啊，谢谢辣条的吃瓜。谢谢。
Did he go here on purpose, or did he just?
相信。
Come on, Billy. Or did he just
四进城。有志者事竟成，对不对？
He just accidentally switched to this, I think. He doesn't click any move here. So he's like so nervous, understandably so, rightfully so, that he like misclicked to different Pokemon for no reason. That's so funny. That's so interesting. That's so crazy. Yeah, I want to see his catch. Really rare thing in PokeMMO. Only seen a handful of times. Less than a handful of times.
但那是母的呀。
Congratulations. 2018 clip, so it is an older clip. It's not like new, but I've never seen this. This is a new instance of 2 shinies in 1 horde. Only the second instance I've ever seen of 2 shinies in 1 ×3 horde, and I've never seen this evidence. I've never seen this footage before. So it's good to have it documented and called out. These things are so rare. It's like a big deal when they happen at all. That's so insane. Congrats to him. you know, 7 years ago at this point. That's 2018 was 7 years ago. There's your boomer pill of the day. Okay, longtime friend and moderator in my chat, Rumel, has been trying to convince me that this spot is cursed and I'll never get a shiny if I stay at Sandslash, which makes me sad because the reason I want shiny Sandslash is because it's the first shiny I ever got in any Pokemon game. I Masuda method bred for a shiny Sandslash in Pokemon White 1. But he is I gotta trust my mod, okay? And longtime Shmeemer, bro. If you leave this spot, you will flash 100%. Where should I hunt, chat? We'll switch it up. We'll switch it up. Where should I hunt? What's the spot where I will flash? I need thoughts, feelings, opinions, suggestions. Everybody, wide duck ass? Okay. We can go to wide duck ass if that's what the people want. Okay, we are here over at wide duck ass. For those who haven't seen this spot, really good shiny hunting spot over in Celestic Town. Get ×5 hordes of wide duck ass right next to the PC. Don't have to use Leppas. It's a really, really, really clean shunt. This is a great question, and it really comes down to personal preference. There is no wrong answer, but I think qualifications are important. He said, do you personally consider alt account shinies as part of your collection on your main account or keep them on alts? I personally do, but they're not tracked on something like PokeMMO Zone for like shiny leaderboards, which I think makes sense as well. So I do have things like, what's a good example? I think this Heatran. Heatran was caught on, that's my OT, Keck W. Scolipede? Scolipede is cool, dude, which is an alt account of mine. So I definitely do have alt account shinies or things like my catch event shiny. I count this as an OT shiny of mine, but I try to qualify. I have 40 OT shinies, meaning Patrouski, or, you know, Patrouski OT shinies, but then I also have things, you know, like maybe the Bouffalon, I think. The Bouffalon that was caught on an alt account while grinding there. I have things like my shiny Muck, for example. My Muck is from an alt account called Speed Shiny. This was from the challenge where I speed ran to a shiny Pokemon from scratch. I think if you do something like a challenge account for a shiny, I think it kind of should count, you know, like towards, I think that's kind of cool, you know? I feel like you shouldn't be punished for doing alt account shunting and speed run and challenge and stuff like that. So I like to count them, but if someone asked like, hey, what's your OT shiny count disregarding alts, like, I would give them that number. You know, it's good to qualify and talk about that or whatever, but it really does come down to personal preference. It's a good question. Here is the beautiful 50,000. It won't be a clean number, but like 50,002. Didn't expect to be 50,000 encounters dry this hunt so soon after going consistently dry, but that's shiny hunting. That's how it goes. I mean, hopefully I get it soon, and then hopefully I can get some wet shunts coming up, but we'll see, man. We just keep going. The only way you lose when shunting is if you stop. If I keep going, we keep going. And I'm going to be honest, this probably is where I go ahead and call it for today, fellas. The wife will be home soon. I'm at a clean 50,000 encounters. We've been live for almost 5 hours now. Hopefully you guys enjoy. We did hit 50,000 encounters, which is what I wanted to do today. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Dislike if not, that's okay. Subscribe to the channel for daily PokeMMO videos. And follow the Twitch for streams like this Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. ET usually. Discord's down below. And if you want to go above and beyond and support the content, if you can afford it, and if you've been entertained or tips and tricks or things have helped your PokeMMO journey, YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, PayPal/Venmo, and then yeah, that's it. What am I talking about? That's it. Have a great day. Enjoy PokeMMO. I'll see you guys later. See you tomorrow. Peace, Reno, fellas. Hey, thank you so very much for watching until the very end of the video. That means the world to me. And if your name is listed here, you're the reason I'm able to do this in the first place by going above and beyond and supporting the channel via YouTube memberships and Twitch Primes. Thank you so much. Have a great day.